But I think they would like to hide the double sniper until second opportunity here. But obviously, there's no I don't think there's any hiding it from their opposition right now. I mean, it's to be expected that this is going to be the case. I mean, they saw it in open division playoffs just as well as we did, and they've probably seen it in scrims as well. So I don't think there's any real hiding it, but perhaps going for a play of just setting things up and knowing what your win condition is after your first attack.
Yeah, and I know it might be to be expected what the defense might run here, but you still want to send your Sombra out as Brett will be hovering over that. It's your invisible scout to not only see the composition, which might not be a huge surprise, but where they're setting up. Sometimes on Volskaya defense, you can hide in either the left or the right corridor, and you can have that initial fight win just from bowling people over. And that's not a first fight win, especially in GOATs where it's very snowbally. You get more energy and more momentum as you win fights. So it might not be, well, they don't want to send a scout out anymore. It might just be very obvious what they're expecting, and they don't maybe want to waste that 10 seconds. So, but just for you guys to know for future reference.
Yeah, so we do have Zingoats versus Zingoats, and they will be approaching here from the left side. And Paradigm just going for that Reinhardt versus Reinhardt matchup. Definitely got to keep your eye on the Zaryas here for their timings.
Yeah, all about building that energy, breaking down the shield of the Reinhardt. Maybe you can catch a Brigitte out of position who's looking for a stun. But these are all these goals that you want to achieve in these pre-fights. That's why it takes so long to kind of get any action going. It's that momentum you're building. As Natrix, his shield is broken down first. Chicken Contendies now, they see the opportunity and they just push them back a little bit. They don't want to overextend. They don't want to sacrifice Salty's mech a little too early.
Oh, what an opening from Tanner. That's both Reinhardts already out of the fight.
Yeah, one Transcendence though, and a grab is denied. Brent, oh my god, he ate the Lucio apparently, but Paradigm will now get on top of the point. They got the grab set up, it traps 2, but this is not a decisive fight win for Paradigm whatsoever. There's 4 versus 3, now 4 versus 2 for the offense, as Paradigm will get the point from this, and Chicken Contendies is just trying to stall for time.
Yeah, they should be able to pull Hard Blue out as well, which is super important. I mean, he did drop his grab in the last fight, but luckily for them, Lisu did as well, and now they can play to stop this momentum that has been created by the attacking side here. Paradigm going to be trying to go in aggressively to set things up, and Hard Blue can stop that dead in its tracks. If he can build up the rest of this Graviton, he, again, managed to get away with his life, so he maintains his energy pool for now.
Yeah, it does not great to be using your graph to get point A. You want to use that for a snowball opportunity for point B, but they could easily earn that. Maybe even a Brett self-destruct could blow things open, but they have to survive through the volley of ultimates from Chicken Contendies. Grab, self-destruct, you name it.
Oh, there's the first attack here as we do see the self-destruct going up over the top.
Oh, it doesn't find much, and the grab from Hard Blue doesn't secure that many kills for Chicken Contendies. 1-1, what a shatter there from Gig. It might get Natrix out of the picture, and it does. Tanner there for the backup. And as we kind of expected here, it's Paradigm not going to get point B from this.
All about follow-up on your Zarya, too. I mean, they set up the Graviton, and Hard Blue's already at 63% again. Maintaining energy pool between fights defensively is so pivotal for a Zarya player. Now it's just about making sure that you can maintain that. The supports have been doing their jobs, opposing the back, taking a 1v1 against Lisu, shutting that down, making sure Lisu can't do anything. 5 minutes 20 on the clock. Chicken Contendies now have to make sure that they can deal with the Graviton to come from Lisu. Can he lock this down for his team?
Can he do it? The grab, go big or go home, or maybe go back to spawn for another 5 minutes, but it can happen here. Starting the snowball, you need this big time bank. Both grabs used at the same time, so neither team can really engage off of the other ultimate, but a Transcendence used for aggression here for Chicken Contendies, and this is what we've been talking about. Once they know they have the advantage, they just roll forward, and Paradigm will have to reset.
Tanner has just been exploiting, and I mean exploiting, Paradigm's cooldown timings. I mean, every time you see the projected barrier go out, Natrix trying to get aggressive, trying to make sure that he can make a play happen, especially when he knows he has Earthshatter. Tanner there every single time for the shield bash. He is going to continue to do that in this matchup. Salty now with the self-destruct. He can be able to, you know, just drop this in, force a lot of aggression straight to Natrix by throwing out the self-destruct and just diving on the Reinhardt.
As a self-destruct from Salty, and it's, oh, the quad kill for Chicken Contendies. It's a huge play for them. Another defense secured, and Paradigm is feeling a lot like Blizzard World.
Yeah, that's a classic play when you have only self-destruct as your win condition for a fight. You throw out a self-destruct, you go for the enemy Reinhardt because everybody else is reeling, trying to get away from the danger, the lethality that the self-destruct brings, and they went right for it, not realizing that, hey, you take the Reinhardt out of the fight and you follow up on the self-destruct, everybody behind him is gonna die.
Just meanwhile, so much energy for Herblues coming up on another grab, slightly ahead here of Lisu, and this could be another Chicken Contendies win coming up. Support ultimates though for Paradigm could be used to survive this. Another eat there from Brett. Now eats grab from Hardblue. Now Paradigm setting up their own grab, just using the Transcendence. Now have to wait out these support ultimates from Chicken Contendies as some members from Paradigm get caught towards the right side. Natrix is down, no main shield, no Brigitte. Paradigm just can't engage off of this.
There is simply no getting through the brick wall that is Chicken Contendies. We saw, you know, last map on Blizzard World, Paradigm's map pick again there. They got the first point, locked down, couldn't get anything done after that. Seems like it could be the case here once again. Daya at least getting them an opening pick. Now it's a question of what are you going to do with this? There's only a little bit of time left to actually execute something before Suppose winds up making it back over to his team, and I don't think that they're going to be able to bridge that gap in time.
Look at Salty. He's behind the enemy team. He's looking to eat this grab, but lost his mech for that, and now the grab is launched. Self-destruct from Brett right on top with the shatter from Natrix to open things up, but Paradigm, now they've gotten their foot onto the point. They start the train, they start the rally. First tick, 2.5 minutes. It took some time, but better late than never. Chicken Contendies looking to stall this out. No swaps yet. Salty throws his mech on. Tanner is there. Oh, a self-destruct from Salty. Giga's here with the spin to win. Paradigm almost have their final tick. They cannot lose any members here during the snowball.
Oh, gotta be able to kill Hardblue here. He can wipe your whole team, get the kill quick, or that could be it, and they do find it.
Huge shatter also from Natrix. Hardblue's not going to be a question. Suppose stalls here with the Transcendence, but this fight has been over for a while, and minute 48 is what Paradigm will finish Volskaya with.
Still an excellent second point defense by Chicken Contendies. And now as we swap sides, question is the play the double sniper defense on point A? And I can't wait to see if it is. I've been waiting for sure, because this is something I mentioned before, you know. If you're starting to lose this Zen Goats matchup, and it feels like it has been a little bit of a struggle, especially as of late, you maybe need to find a new way and kind of adapt to this situation, right? And the best way to do that is to find some other way to get these wins and string these along. And it's on this map in particular, the best way that they've shown to be able to do that specifically has been with the double sniper defense. Hanzo, Widow, having the Mercy brought in as well, and just playing kind of a dive strategy, just peeling for their team. Teams that do run straight goats into that composition have struggled time and time and time again, and it does look as though we aren't going to get that. It's actually going to be a straight goats defense here, so they're not employing that.
So what I remember that when Alpha Gaming or Paradigm did try this double sniper defense, it was nice, but it also eventually the teams swapped to dive or even triple tank dive. And
that's the threat too.
Yeah, I think Paradigm don't want to risk that. And it's kind of still, I would have maybe at least tried it, especially when you know your GOATS team or your GOATS composition maybe isn't as strong as Chicken Contendies, but they still want to just improve on it.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe they can turn something around here. And this would be a big morale boost if they can get a pretty solid hold here on first and get a pretty equivalent time bank sorted for the opponent. So, I mean, this is an opportunity for them to definitely turn morale around in their favor if they can do something good here with this composition. Again, mirroring on the left side.
And I mean, the win condition too is time banks. I mean, I wouldn't doubt Chicken Contendies could win this, but if they can have a 5+ minute time bank, you know, the time bank that you start with when you get to point B, the first fight win, that could really spell some victory in the later rounds for Chicken Contendies. But let's start with the story here at point A. Both teams looking to build that energy, breaking the shields of each other's. Reinhardt's Gig, though, is got the Discord. He gets booped off there from Chopped. Huge plays for Paradigm on this defense, and that will be a reset for Contendies.
And you can see how defensively these Reinhardts are forced to play. Not that they are playing, but they are forced into playing that way because of the pressure being placed down by Zarya's, Brigittas, Divas, Zenyatta's. Everybody's focusing all the pressure into the barrier fight and making sure that there's opportunities for the Brigidas to get in there and cause some shoulder bash action to go through, and they can maybe set up kills early onto these Reinhardts. Big advantage there if you can get the kill early.
Chicken Contendies, they take this right topside approach to try and at least prevent some poke damage to go into Gig's shield. You want to maintain that as much as possible, minimizing that distance. Grab launched here from the attacking team, Chicken Contendies, and now a responding grab here from Lisu, and you got a shatter that just slams down on Paradigm, and a denied graviton from Lisu. There's a lot going on, but Chicken Contendies coming out ahead in kills, surrounding Paradigm, dividing and conquering, and with that fight win, they will get point A.
Incredibly clean fight there for them. It took a little while for them to finally clean it up, but otherwise, I mean, the execution was there, and a lot of that came from Salty, denying the grab from Lisu. Yeah, you still have that 70% versus 77% line, but if Harblu can generate this quickly with his bank of energy right now, they could just waltz right in here with advantage of sound barrier, get aggressive, and just find these kills, and they'll have sustain to back themselves up.
What's different here is Chicken Contendies, they have a grab to potentially have this huge time bank if they were to win this fight. See, space created by Tanner. Gig goes forward, looking for Harblu to hurry up with this grab. Now throws it as soon as he has it. Self-destruct appear with it from Salty, but Paradigm are already falling apart at the seams. Brett, self-destruct on the point, gets a double kill as Contendies were trying to engage. And now that Transcendence from Suppose just not keeping anyone alive with the rest of the team dead. And that's Chicken Contendies using almost every single ultimate on the board and not getting point B.
Still a lot of time on the clock, though, for Chicken Contendies for now. Rally at the ready for Tanner, but not much else. We will see the Earthshatter coming up for Gig, but I do think that this should be a fight where Chicken Contendies go in, start building up their ultimates, and make sure that they don't lose too much more time going in with not enough weapons at their disposal.
Yeah, this will be a dry fight for both teams. Maybe Gravitons, maybe at the end parts of this fight. We know Goat's fights kind of last a very long time. As Natrix, oh, he gets moved forward, and that's the Chicken Contendies taking advantage of that Dia. Transcendence to keep his front line alive, but now Chicken Contendies, they start to pressure Paradigm, but Grav at the ready from Lisu, he dies with it, and that's how Paradigm needed to flip this point over. There's still one last chance for them to flip this. The momentum will start for Chicken Contendies. They throw a grab right at the doorway, and Salty leaves the self-destruct right at the door. And Paradigm, now they've given up one tick. They have a grab. Can Lisu potentially save his team there? There's nobody there to engage with him, so this grab might not have a ton of value. It traps Chicken Contendies exactly where they want to be, and that's a much larger time bank that Chicken Contendies have to work with.
It's absolutely insane. It's absurd even how clean they are at executing and right at the beginning making sure that they find opportunities to get advantages early on and obtaining, you know, ultimate economy delta. I mean, positive ultimate economy delta off of things that are just absurd, you know, like having a shatter at 75% going into a fight and a rally to back it up, and that's it, and you're able to waltz into a point and just dominate. I mean, that is actually absurd. Chicken Contendies looking so solid right now, and you can see that being displayed in the time bank difference here, 147 to 408. Of course, it is going to be Paradigm attacking first here. It's going to be much of the same, of course, Zen Goats versus Zen Goats, and maybe as we go further along, we could see something different if Paradigm need to defend again, but, you know, at this stage, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to turn things back around now, especially with this time bank disadvantage and knowing that these are 4-map sets, right? So they have to get a win here.
They have to. You're already down 2-0 to Chicken Contendies, and remember, this was Alpha that actually won in Game 5 versus them in the semis of Open Division playoffs. Now, out the door, as you're not spending any time sending out a scout like a Sombra or a Hansa Sound Arrow, nothing, none of that. You don't have time to play around. You have minute 40. You got like 2 fights out of this.
All right, they're starting off. Same fight as always, left side. Going to be Ryan versus Ryan. Who can open it up first?
Oh, Gig though, oh, he's dangerously low and Brett is behind him. He could have got the finish, but Natrix just swats him away. But the offense though, they lost a mech, but they trade that with a Brigitte and a D-mech from the other side. So Paradigm, with that initial kill they got onto Gig, this just completely opened up the defense of Chicken Contendies. So much more damage can come in. And with that kill onto a Reinhardt, the offense had a bigger advantage. And they didn't even have that much time to work with, a minute 40, and they got it within 40 seconds.
I mean, this is the same thing that we saw them get last time they attacked point A, but the same issue persists. You have to make sure that you killed their Zarya. Hardblue, he's been a threat this entire time. He keeps getting away with his life and with his energy pool, so that's going to be a struggle for them as they go for this second push again.
Yeah, minute 16, this is just not a lot of time for Paradigm to work with either. They need to build up a grab and win it here. It's gonna look really hairy if they have to reset again, but what a stun from Hope. Now you got the main shield from the defense out of the picture. Suppose, use the Transcendence to keep his front line up during the pressure that the offense are bringing. Natrix brings down the hammer, but they're trapped into a grab and a responding grab from Paradigm. Now can they start this momentum onto the point? Chicken Contendies. They've just given up all this space, and Gig is just by himself with no supports. He wasted the shatter that they potentially needed to re-engage. With 40 seconds, remember, Paradigm started this with a minute 40, and they're on point B, and they're not even breaking a sweat. Second tick about to be earned. Chicken Contendies don't have really any ults, maybe a grab, but this is just not enough time for them to get back. Salty's gonna lose mech, and there's a self-destruct from Brett at the back. Paradigm are looking so good. Chicken Contendies, all they want to do is stall this to overtime, but 15 seconds, it's not gonna happen. Paradigm will finish Volskaya a second time.
And they did have a couple of buys that could have maybe jumped on and grabbed a couple of seconds off there, but of course, they do get still 15 seconds. Hardblue right now, I think his KDR is probably something like 75.0 or something like that. So he's just like, you know what? I'll make sure I maintain the KD instead of stalling out another second and a half or so. But either way, having time on the clock is so huge because now, of course, they have the opportunity, should it be necessary, to go ahead and attack for a third time. So we very well could see, you know, a really huge score line here on Volskaya, and this is definitely going to be a points-heavy matchup, unless, of course, Paradigm can just cancel it all out right now, put the stops to Chicken Contendies in their attack. But, I mean, this attack has been incredibly volatile throughout already, and their Zengoats has been so proficient, especially when, you know, their ultimate economy is less than that of Paradigm's. I mean, we've seen them win fights that shouldn't be winnable.
Chicken Contendies, I mean, we talked about it the very first round. It's all about that time bank win. Can you win in the further rounds? And Volskaya, Hanamura, those are the types of maps that, you know, you can go to like 10 million points just because once you start that momentum with goats, you finish with these incredible time banks. And Chicken Contendies had like a 2-minute advantage over Paradigm. But Paradigm can work under pressure. They're the Game 5 kings of Open Division. It was like Game 5 after Game 5 for them. And you just can't count them out. Even when they're down 0-2, they can easily flip this around. Now, Chicken Contendies, with the Zengoats, they go to the high ground towards the right side to avoid that poke damage.
Yeah, so this is a very different approach for Chicken Contendies to be taking this fight. Now they can drop down, but that is going to leave Gig exposed when he does drop.
Yeah, you can see Paradigm just not giving them any space to work with. It's the Reinhardts trying to get each other down, and also the Lucio is trying to boop these tanks in these awkward positions, see if they can get a Discord on, and see if they can burst them down. And with that initial pick, both Reinhardts down. And now you got no Zarya here for the defense. Contendies, they start to pressure the point. They're all types of separated, but what they're doing is dividing and conquering. Both teams got point A in their second round within the first fight.
So now Chicken Contendies is going to be taking this advantage, and they have a very big one here. Chicken Contendies is going to be going forward. They have their combo coming up between the Graviton and the self-destruct. They have Gig ready to go with the Earthshatter soon. They have support ults coming online pretty quickly. The only thing that they don't have is the rally, but they still have some duration left on that armor anyways.
All right, let's see how big Hardblue's backpack is. He's gonna have the grab, the shatter from Gig. Who can pop off the most? This could be the fight that Chicken Contendies just get this humongous time bank from again. Shatter though from Gig. It's not too fat. It does get the Brigitte and the grab. I don't know, somehow everyone just got booped away. But the grab still successful, but Salty self-destruct, not the obliteration we were looking for, as Paradigm just barely hold on. The supports are just sustaining their tanks so well here for Paradigm, and Chicken Contendies will have to try this one again.
Yeah, a huge boop there that actually just kind of threw everybody out of that initial grab. They wound up basically being thrown back into it anyways, but again, great sustain that came out from their support players. Now the win condition here for Chicken Contendies is to, just run in here, sound barrier, play the Earth Shatter, and see if maybe they can avoid the threat of the combo from Paradigm. This should be a fight where Paradigm that they can use to actually even out and get their support ults up with a fight, just a team kill wipe.
Well, Paradigm are just so ahead in the ultimate game. This is a fight very much favoring Paradigm, and Chicken Contendies want to get just bait these ults out. You don't want to waste time. Yeah, just take the L, just go and die, get these ultimates out of Paradigm. You got the grab self-destruct out. Now Chicken Contendies can work on their combo in the next fight, not have to worry as much.
Gotta get in there pretty quickly here, though. I mean, the longer that this goes on while you're waiting to utilize your sound barrier, it's more time for Chop to actually generate one of his own. And once you do have both support ults ready, Paradigm can do a lot. With that, they can sustain for an extended period once they have both of those options available to them.
All right, Chicken Contendies, they come around the corner. They got a grab soon on the Shatter. They were not expecting that at all. Natrix, oh my god, just grounded this airplane here of Chicken Contendies, and they still hold on to their ultimates. But, man, you got to keep track of the other team's ults, too.
Absolutely. I mean, still, though, we still see that issue where they've been hitting a brick wall, and even now, when they do have the Graviton ready for Hard Blue, you will see Dia available to just drop a trans, and again, time being bought for Chopped, Lisu, Brett, even Natrix if they can get a couple swings off. So it's all about time here in this next fight.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is you don't have Salty self-destruct. Now, last fight for Chicken Contendies, or Paradigm can start to respond in this series. It's a support ultimate fiesta. The tangos of Transcendence is all over the field. Now, a grab from the offense. It breaks down the front line of Paradigm. Chicken Contendies, they surge forward with 40 seconds. Remember, guys, Chicken Contendies had a 2-minute advantage over Paradigm. And now that the dust is cleared, this is a very similar time bank situation. Now Paradigm have evened up the odds. Even if they lose this point B, this will be very close. Nice self-destruct from Salty. Natrix zooms in onto the point, walks into a grab, and Chicken Contendies have won this fight. You even see Gig kind of come back last minute as the Hammond. Paradigm not making a miracle happen with a Brett self-destruct and Hope as the emergency Doomfist. But Paradigm have actually stalled this to overtime, so almost overtime. I got ahead of myself. 4 seconds on that time bank.
So both of them will go up to a minute, or rather Chicken Contendies will go up to a minute, and we will see 15 seconds added to that original, or a minute added to the original as well. So 110 versus 1 minute here for the time banks. 4-4. Of course, it is going to be Chicken Contendies attacking first. Both of these teams obviously have a history of capping very early on point A, and it wouldn't be really a surprise to see that happen again here. So 5-5 scoreline it shouldn't really put a surprised look on anyone's faces at this stage, but we'll have to see who
can end here, though. Come on.
It has to. It absolutely has to. I mean, you can get the 30 seconds extra added after point A once you cap that out, but I don't know if even that's enough time. Both these teams starting to kind of adapt and figure each other out, especially on this map, and especially with, how exactly each team approaches, these stages and everything. So,
well, Paradigm, both these teams have 1 minute, right? You said that's very small, but that means if you lose the first fight to point A, you're basically done, because it takes, at least 30 seconds to posture yourself when you're playing Zengoats versus Zengoats. So this is a one fight done situation. So this could really define the winning team, which at first was Chicken Contendies having this large advantage of 2 minutes plus over Paradigm, and now Paradigm are ahead by 10 seconds, which really doesn't say anything much, but...
All right, how is Chicken Contendies going to approach this? Last time we saw them take the high ground, dropping down. Gig was a little bit susceptible to some early pressure initially, and I think that's going to be the play here from Paradigm as well. They're just going to meet them. They're going up the stairs.
Oh, this is not a defense I was expecting, and they just jebaited them. They come towards the left side here, and now Chicken Contendies seeing if they can break down the shield here of Paradigm. Natrix is so low, and you can see he's just being completely surrounded by Lucios, by Brigidas. The poor guy just needs a little help, and he's getting a ton of it because Natrix hasn't died. Meanwhile, the rest of Paradigm have taken advantage of Chicken Contendies and surrounded their front line. Now, 17 seconds, this is what we were talking about. You had 1 minute to get this done, and Chicken Contendies have 12 seconds now to touch point A.
And now you force desperation into Chicken Contendies. They might lose Suppose, and they do indeed. Gig just strolling right over to the point just to get some progress onto it and to force overtime.
Yeah, at least overtime is started, but is the rest of them there? Gig is going to have some fun playing bowling, but not with a Discord and a laser on his face. So, Chicken Contendies will have to see if they can win this one 6 versus 5. But Salty's max out of the picture. Paradigm have every ultimate in the game. It's looking so good for them, and now they will hold this defense. The question will be, can they get that 33% to point A to keep themselves alive in this series coming up?
Incredibly high risk play to just go right for the high ground like that. Meet them up on the stairs on that second level to deny the high ground from them and force the fight into a doorway choke where if they are set up there, they should have a very clear and evident advantage. So avoiding that fight entirely, we saw Chicken Contendies just drop right onto the point. So a very different type of fight here for their attack, although extra 10 seconds, of course, for the other side, and Paradigm going to be trying to take that advantage as far as they possibly can. 33% is all they need, and Zen Goats is what we expect.
Can't expect anything else, and it's because of that, just that momentum that this builds. Choosing anything else, and if that anything else, snipers, whatever you pick, if that doesn't work, you're at this disadvantage economy-wise. The other Zarya is going to have more energy. They're going to have grab and the combo with the self-destruct before you do, until you realize that Goats is the better option. So this is just teams playing this smart, getting ahead of themselves, knowing what works and what doesn't. And Paradigm with a minute 10 is the same thing as Chicken Contendies. We could have a draw here if they don't get it in 110 seconds, a minute and 10 seconds. This could be the same thing. It's a one fight and done deal.
And remember, initially, it was like 150 versus 410 or something. The initial time banks that we saw in Paradigm are now in the driver's seat to see if this is going to be a draw or if they can take this map and maybe get a reverse sweep. Remember, this is 4-map set, possible best of 5, 4-map differential in this round-robin format. Paradigm trying to get the victory here.
Yeah, Chicken Contendies are up 2-0. And this could go the distance as Paradigm, 48 seconds. They need to get a pick here, and they do. They got the Brigida out, but Natrix got so aggressive and so overextended here towards Gig, and Gig tried to go for a pin, and he got punished. This is back and forth. Now Brett is out of mech. Paradigm, though, they're still in the number advantage, and now Chicken Contendies, they start to separate. Their supports got left out to dry by Salty, and Paradigm only needed that 33%, 25 seconds. No one from Chicken Contendies is there, and look at this. Chicken Contendies were up 2-0, and Paradigm, they start the comeback. They will now be there with 2-1.
Seems like preparation and confidence is so key for this team. I mean, you could say that about a lot of teams, but it seems like even more so the case for Paradigm. They look like a completely different team when they attack first point there on Hanamura, where everything is in sync, everything is coordinated. Paradigm, you can see them coming together even in this play of the game right here, where things are clicking. That hasn't always been the case, especially on the last map of Blizzard World. But now if they can continue that, they might have a shot to take this next map. This one is going to be, now for the first time, Chicken Contendies map choice.
So we'll wait for their map choice, and we'll just talk about what we saw, which was Chicken Contendies kind of getting reversed a little bit. You know, the first fight, they had 5-something minutes. Paradigm, I think, had a 2 minutes or something. My brain escapes me, but you know, a large advantage at the first round for Chicken Contendies on their attack. But what Paradigm did was flip things around on their defense, hold Chicken Contendies back, and that's the composure you need, not only to play in a long series like this, but to play on Assault. Just because time banks give a team an advantage doesn't mean you can hold a miraculous defense and equal the odds in the coming rounds.
Yeah, I mean, composure is everything, like you say, especially on 2CP. It's never more important than on Assault map types. But we move forward, and it does look like we are going to be getting things rolling onto King's Row, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that's an interesting map choice here. It seems as though Chicken Contendies is going to be opting for basically just rolling in the Zen Goats, right? And just playing that advantage. You know, you're going to have those congested halls or streets rather, where you're going to be running right through. And if that's the thing that you want to go for, Chicken Contendies is definitely the team to make that work, because again, they've been very, very consistent, certainly far more consistent than Paradigm with that composition, and things can look good for them.
All right, we are, there are some servers that need to be swapped, so we're going to be swapping to the West Coast server as for the request of Chicken Contendies, so we'll just wait for them to get them sorted. But yeah, as you did say, it is King's Row, where all the tank metas, quad tank, goats, everything was birthed on this map. Not as much, you know, you can go to the high ground and all that, but it's very, you want to have your fights onto the point. Not a lot of space to work with. Rotations towards hotel. A lot of you even saw Paradigm on Blizzard World using these corridors to go for flanks and to kind of see if they can catch Chicken Contendies or vice versa off guard.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, Zarya, and Lucio might be, you know, hailing from different areas, Germany, Russia, and Brazil respectively, for sure. But their home does indeed exist here on King's Row in the UK. I mean, this is where they have been the most dominant as a trifecta, as a core unit, and we're going to be seeing certainly more of that here. You can get a lot of benefit out of pretty much every one of these heroes. That's the reason why, you know, Goats is so strong in these types of areas. You're going to be seeing that on other maps as well going forward, but King's Row, I think, is one that is in particular strong for that as well.
Let me stop you there, because it's not even King's Row anymore.
Okay.
The players forgot that we're supposed to go to Escort. I kind of blanked.
Yeah, that's what I was
looking at Escort and King's Row, and I'm like, wait. All right, so for a real Escort map...
I didn't want to be the dumb one to be like, hey, it's not supposed to be King's Row, and it was, but that's why I had like a question mark on my face when they said, I was like, King's Row, but either way, we're still...
the players host the lobbies, guys. We're just here along for the ride. We're just chilling. We're just talking over the games. But we will be going to Route 66, so at least that's the real Escort map here.
Yeah, so we move over to West Coast servers anyways. That's going to be Chicken Contendies' preference, and we move over to a map that's very interesting, right? I mean, we talked already about the different compositions that these teams like to play, and that is going to exist especially on this map, you know, even more so than what we expected on Volskaya. Chicken Contendies, they have an opportunity to show for the first time at a Contenders trials level the composition that we've been kind of talking about a little bit, which is the dive triple tank with Hammond, Widow or Ashe, and then Mercy Anna to round things out.
Yeah, because they actually played this in the past. We're not just making stuff up. Like, they've actually played this composition in Open Division.
They play something else other than Goats, we promise. And in fact, they play predominantly not Goats, actually, at least towards the end of playoffs. We saw both these teams, of course, playing tons of Goats throughout playoffs, but Chicken Contendies especially played a lot of things other than that, actually, specifically the dive triple tank. And also the quad DPS that I was talking about earlier from Paradigm happened on their attack on this map as well. They played quad DPS, and
that was also
and
against
Vibrant,
off the map, who was
it was against the Grain, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is it against the Grain? They were also doing that against off the map, so that was
they love pulling it out. I tell you what, they love pulling it out.
The Korean special. At least the first time I saw it was on Korean Contenders. But the quad DPS, I mean, will maybe be the dream on the defense, but Chicken Contendies on their defense, bringing out the Zen Goats, and Paradigm, they might actually spend the time to actually send out a Sombra scout to see what the defense are doing.
And they could actually stick with this too, because Brett now, he plays Tracer with this quad DPS comp. I mean, this could be 4 out of 6 actually what they're going to be running. Natrix and Hope being the ones to actually swap, and Brett going to go over to the Tracer. Hope should swap as well. There it is. Quad DPS out of the gates. We question, is Dia going to be able to play the Hanzo? Looks like he's going to be able to, or at least he's going to try.
And it's also interesting that the Chicken Contendies, their defense aren't playing as close to the payload to try and get that early fight win, force a second fight at the end of point A. Seeing this quad DPS, like, how? You don't see it too often. And now it's a lot of extra damage that Paradigm have to work with, but with a solo heal of Chop on the Mercy, Chicken Contendies, if they get that support pick, that could be the fight win for them.
And they're not playing the triple tank dive. Instead, they're playing the Zen Goats, which could be more susceptible to damage threats than the Moira Goats option that they could have pulled out.
And that's a first pick for the defense. Dia gets resurrected though, so we go again, and there's all kinds of threats. You got projectiles, you got a tracer in your face, you got just a lot. Just a lot, a Hanzo and an Ashe. But it's really the offense that haven't had enough focus fire to actually get a kill onto one of these tanks or one of these supports of Chicken Contendies.
Have to get ult advantage to be able to do anything here. And once you start building up into that ult advantage, that's when you can start your push. Don't expect too much to be happening against Goats until that occurs. And we will start seeing things building up now for Paradigm. We see the barrage come up. We're seeing Bob coming up. We see the pulse bomb available soon as well. Now it's about trying to get in there, put some pressure down, force support ults to come out from Chicken Contendies, and that's your ability to go in.
Oh, well, a bit of justice comes out from Hope, but it has a ton of value because you got Harblue out of the picture, who had grab and probably had a ton of energy from winning all these consecutive fights. Lisu gets resurrected, and now a Bob could be online here in 10%, but the Dragon Strike will come out first from Diet, splits the payload, and a little bit of a distance is earned from Paradigm, but not much momentum. A few picks go through for Paradigm. A Bob is on the field, and Kick is shattering the backline. It's very, very chaotic here for the defense. But meanwhile, Paradigm can try and breathe, but they had a few picks here, Herix, and I don't know what's happening. They had to go back to spawn.
They have to have a huge advantage to be able to continue these kind of pushes. Otherwise, Chicken Contendies could do so much more, you know, being only down 1 or 2 players. So that's a full swap, and it's at 140. Not a good time to make a swap for Paradigm. They might not be able to build into an advantage that they may need to get this first point cap now.
The grab is thrown here from Harblue. Self-destruct from Salty is just right in their face. And Gig was there to rein in the extra damage. It's a very tanky boy. Paradigm have a minute and 20 to get point A. And this is where they rethink everything of what they were doing. Back to the Goats and Chicken Contendies. They still have leftover ultimates despite all of that.
And with a time bank of, you know, 140, they only have realistically like 3 fights that they can actually go for. And it's going to take 3 fights to build into what they need. So they might have just shut themselves out just by virtue of when they swapped.
Gig, if he gets his kill onto Natrix, slams down the Shatter. It gets mostly blocked, but it's Chicken Contendies that plays so well as a unit. Paradigm are definitely shook. 45 seconds left, and this is very similar to Blizzard World, where when Chicken Contendies, they're on fire, they play on fire.
Yeah, Chicken Contendies definitely playing this very well, staying composed at the side of the quad DPS threat. But realistically, Paradigm, I think a huge mistake on their part to play that quad DPS for so long to no avail, and then making a swap at 140 on a time bank.
Well, support ultimates left from Chicken Contendies, and they already got a first pick. Huge advantage here for the defense. Can Paradigm even make anything happen? There's 14 seconds left, and they're all dead. Even use a rally. It's self-destruct from Brett just to die. This is a strange look from Paradigm, despite how well they did on Volskaya.
Well, they're trying to send their Zenyatta forward, and they can't even touch here. Shut down completely. Not a lot of distance covered at all, and Zengoat's defense looking very, very solid for Chicken Contendies, and it looks like all they have to do is throw out that comp one more time, and they can take this 3-1.
Oh boy, I mean, Paradigm Alpha Gaming, just game 5s all day, every day in Open Division playoffs. Like, they were sweating. They were sweating so much. And they actually got very far in playoffs. And this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. You know, they're down 0-2. They start the comeback on Volskaya. But if you can't keep up the momentum, if you can't keep the train rolling, the train ain't going to go very far. Your tickets aren't going to sell very much. So Chicken Contendies, I mean, they just have a few meters to go. And that means a fight loss could be the end of Paradigm. Now the question is, do they hold a close defense and maybe try and force a second fight? I just don't think they can get a second fight.
Very, very difficult position to be in when you're going for an attack and you're trying out a different composition and you force a switch to Goats. You're going to need basically about almost 2 minutes to be able to get full value out of a Goat swap when your opponent has already gotten value from a Goat's composition that they've been playing already. So now you're just trying to break even. You're trying to reset ult economy. It takes about 2 minutes to do that unless you're very, very solid at playing that composition. So now defensively, not a good position to be in if you're Paradigm. You virtually have to disallow any fight wins to happen for 4 minutes straight. Chicken Contendies is not a team that looks like they're going to be allowing that to happen.
Yeah, and they're going for kind of a, you know, a spawn trap situation, but Chicken Contendies, they go towards the train on the left side, they rotate around. Now the odds are turned. Now Paradigm have no space to work with, and now Chicken Contendies can force them up against a wall. But again, the same winning conditions here, folks, for GOATs. Break down your Ryan shield, get your Zarya to have more energy, get your ults online as quick as you can. Paradigm, though, they've broken down the shield of Gig. There's the Discord Orb and the burst down. Chicken Contendies. Now the offense have no main shield, and now Zolik gets caught out of position, able to survive. But Chicken Contendies are not wasting any time, don't want to feed extra ult charge. They take a step back to get Gig back.
Don't overextend yourself at any point in any regard here if you're Paradigm. You have to make sure that you're only using 1 or 2 ults to win fights. You have to stay consistent. You have to stay efficient as well.
Shatter for Natrix, but a hard blue grab. Oh, it gets eaten. Come on, bro. That's I was expecting that to be big, and a Shatter's even bigger from Natrix. Paradigm rolling this one in, and you can't count them out yet.
What a counter. We talked about you can only use 1 or 2 ults here. They used exactly 2. They still have options going forward. They shut down the grab from Hardblue. Yes, he's maintaining his energy. He should be able to build one up quickly again, as he has all throughout this series, but at least for now, the hope is still alive.
The hope is still alive, with Rally, in fact. And a graviton from his buddy Lisu. Now it's a very scary rally from Tanner, though. Chicken Contendies forcing them against a wall. Paradigm looking for the grab. They drop it. Self-destruct from Brett. Clearing out the shield. It still gets 1 kill, but a shatter from Gig gets everyone down from Paradigm. They're barely holding on to their health pools, and it's a transcendence from Daya that kept everyone up during that explosion of damage. As Chicken Contendies, they get back to their safe room, and Paradigm, they're looking real good.
Unfortunately, I think that comes to a halt right here. I mean, sound barrier and combo for Chicken Contendies, ready to go in this next fight, and only Natrix again to try to see if he can shut it down. He got it the last time, although coming down from high ground here, he's not going to be able to drop it onto everybody unless everybody drops down, and that might actually be the case. An opening is arrived here for Paradigm.
Well, grab self-destruct there from Chicken Contendies. It's thrown. Self-destruct. Natrix tries to throw the shatter to counter it, but the kills are already done. It's too late. Chicken Contendies will win that fight, and they can get a little bit of payload distance. 1 minute and 20, though, is what Paradigm got this down to, and they need to quickly get back. The yellow box of victory is right around the corner.
Yeah, they definitely need to get there as soon as possible. Make sure that they can get everybody into favorable positions. Otherwise, Harblu could start eating them alive from the back, and it just does look like they're going to go for it.
Now you don't have a Zen, it's okay. Maybe saw it to Lucio, but the shatter comes out from Gig. They still keep their payload presence. Contendies, now they use their Transcendence. A rally, the support ultimate, keeping their teams alive, but Paradigm have no Zarya. They have no Reinhardt. They have hope with a rally, but no one is really left from Paradigm to keep this one going. A miracle just can't happen, and Chicken Contendies at that yellow box of victory will take the 3-1 victory over Paradigm in our first day of trials.
And that's the first one. Not a bad way to start for Chicken Contendies. Not a bad way to start at all. Dominant performance all throughout the day. A couple of really solid looks. I mean, even Volskaya was pretty close. Although at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to the play between Gig and Hardblue. Hardblue especially has really stepped things up on the Zarya. Very, very different performance level from what we're seeing today and what we saw just a week ago.
Man, I just love these Reinhardt duels. Both these divas also eating grabs, and it's also so nice in the UI that you can actually see that happen. Except on Volskaya, where apparently the Matrix ate the Lucio, which sometimes you get these funny bugs happen. But Chicken Contendies 3-1 over Paradigm. Paradigm almost forcing the game 5, and I might have jinxed it, so I apologize to Paradigm and Alpha Gaming. But
only I'm allowed to say it. That's it.
I mean, it looks so much like that was gonna happen. In Paradigm, they tried this quad DPS. We were hyping it up, but just like no kills went through when they actually did run that.
Yeah, and interestingly, we never saw the comp that was run almost exclusively throughout the entire series versus Mirage by Chicken Contendies. That dive triple tank that we've been talking about, we've been kind of waiting for. However, Chicken Contendies knew that the best way for them to win that matchup was by forcing Zen goats as often as possible, and that was a really obvious way for them to take the win, and that's exactly what they went for, and they reaped the benefits of it.
We are ready for our next match, which will be between Bermuda, aka Mirage, and Underwater Squad. So we will have to jump into the lobby. So we're going to throw it to a quick music break as you guys can enjoy all our wonderful graphics. So shout out to Sad from Elohel eSports who designed everything. So we're going to be right back after this short break.